Now, new figures today show hundreds of obese children, some as young as 4, are being treated in NHS clinics tackling severe weight issues. Now, some children over 11 are also being offered weight loss injections. What do we do about this, Janet? It's quite drastic, isn't it, when you think about young children having weight loss jabs?
I think there are about 6,500 young people, children specifically, in these getting treated in these clinics, and there's only 400 who are getting the weight loss jabs, and that's when they're over 11. More worrying is the number of children who, at the age of, I think it's 4, are the same weight that 10-year-olds should be.
I was quite shocked when I was reading. I'm always shocked when I read about obesity in very young children, always.
Yeah, I think obviously children are getting heavier and we're trying to work out the reasons why. And one of the targets has always been school meals. And in fact, the government has issued new guidelines for school meals because that's where most kids get a guaranteed hot meal every day. So the government's issuing new standards for school meals, which are going to be published in September. And they've told us, I've read what they're going to come out with. It's online if you want to read it. There's going to be more fruit, more veg. Desserts going to be replaced with fruit. There's going to be more fibre in the form of, whole food and pulses and so on. Of course, that's all very good, but there's 2 things wrong with the plan. One is it's not going to be introduced till September 27. By then, it's got to be compulsory, so it's going to be another year and a half till it's compulsory. The second thing is that school meals are still not compulsory. And I happen to think that that should be one of the most important things that the government guarantees every child, which is 1 nutritious meal a day while you're at school.
But there will be people watching, Janet, who will say, why is it up to the government? Where are the parents? What are they doing? Why aren't they feeding them healthily at home?
Correct. But if they combine compulsory school lunches, and also I believe that a hot breakfast is essential for kids to be able to learn properly in the morning. And I just think it's part of education now. There shouldn't be any ifs or buts about it. It's just my personal thing.
You've got to...
I just think we owe it to the next generation.
I absolutely agree, and that's why when I say I'm shocked, I mean saddened and shocked when I read those statistics, Coleen, because these children are the future, and it's not their fault if they're obese. It's adults who are buying the food, putting the food on the table,
but adults
and they're
who are
learning.
not educated, adults who don't know how to cook, adults who are working.
Yeah, but these children will grow up to be adults who also don't know how to cook, and so the cycle goes on. It is surely you've got to educate everybody, and it's got to be a combination. It can't just be school, it can't just be the government. Parents have to be involved. It's like, it takes a village, as they say.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is with the school meals, I agree with you, it would be great if they were all like that, as long as they're all free, because some people just can't afford that. That's the end result. A lot of people cannot afford it, so they either have to give them packed lunch, which might not be healthy, but, unless there's some concession for people that just want... Because if they're making them that healthy, of course, they're going to be more expensive and more time. So I think it comes across as that, as the cost of living, which is rising all the time. And whatever you say, a lot of, the healthier stuff can be, time-consuming and expensive for certain people. Also, some people, not only can't they cook, me being one of them, don't like cooking, me being the other one. So if it wasn't for my daughter, I'd be eating really unhealthy because she loves cooking. I think that's a massive part of it for people at home. And, there's 2 working parents now in most households as well. Yeah. So, you get home at 7 o'clock at night, your kids will probably need to have a bath and go to bed because they've got school. So you're thinking, well, I'm just going to have to give them something quick. I mean, there's so many elements to it.
Yeah, but our parents' generation worked as well, so I'm not completely buying that.
What do you do, Brenda? What do you do?
Well, I totally agree with what Janet's saying with regards to the schools being involved a bit more, because the kids are there a lot of the time. My children, I used to take them to Breakfast Club, and I had to take them to Breakfast Club because I had to be at work for 9 o'clock in the morning. So I'd drop them off at 8 o'clock, and then there'd be porridge or a nice hot meal. But I think the education, we're always talking about educating young people and kids, but parents, adults are still learning how to eat nutritional in nutritious ways. Maybe schools can, you know, we're coming to this section, but about growing things and showing children
talk
the
about
fun.
that in a moment. But do you remember, Janet, we talked about her before, and I can't remember, it's somewhere in Norfolk, say. It was a head teacher, and she had this system where if the children in their packed lunch had fruit instead of crisps or chocolate, they would get a gold star. And at the end of the week, if they had 5 gold stars, they would get a gift, and it wouldn't be sweets, it would be colouring pencils or a ball or something. And what happened is that the children were then going home and saying, actually, Mum and Dad, I don't want crisps tomorrow, can I have an apple?
Yeah.
So they were taking that information home because they were being rewarded for having something healthy. So I think you've got to lead with the carrot, not the stick, haven't
But
you?
I just think we're...
Carrot. See what I did there, Cole?
Not to go on about politics, but we are at a moment where a government is deciding who do we want as Prime Minister. And I think that if it's a Labour Prime Minister, what they should be putting first are children and the next generation.
Absolutely.
And instead of spending money on things that aren't essential to this country, the next generation is absolutely fundamental, and their health is fundamental.
Absolutely
so I've been prioritising it over everything else.
Absolutely agree with you. Well, we were talking there about vegetables and fruit and things, and one way to stay healthy, of course, is if you grow your own vegetables. Food prices, as we're talking about, you know, shooting up all the time, and more people are doing just that, including some of us on this panel. So when it comes to gardens, who is top of the plots? I have to say, Brenda, I've been looking at pictures.
You're on fire.
Oh, yeah, she's on board.
She is.
It's actually Laura's script, but, you know, it's how you deliver it. But I've been very impressed with you making your own raised beds.
Yeah.
It's all going on in the garden.
Well, yeah, because I moved into a new home and then I had some work done, so I had to dig up everything. And so I made these. I'm very proud of making these raised beds out of some decking. I put them all together. It might not be perfect, but it works and it holds the soil in. I put leaves in the bottom, you know,
organic,
my waste
Brenda,
leaves.
it's organic,
It is
they call
organic. And I find it really therapeutic. And I find it really rewarding when you've grown your own veg or your own fruit. I've got so much in there, from beetroot to spinach to onions to peppers.
And then I've got tastes so good.
And it does taste so much better. I tried that test with Tanisha a few years back, and she was like, "Oh my gosh, where did you get these salad leaves? They're from the garden. You can just taste the
I have to
flavour
say
more."
as well, we're talking about children there, if we're combining these two. I believe it's like if you teach children to cook, if they cook something, they're more likely to eat it. If they grow something, they're more likely to want to cook it or eat it.
I grew up in inner London, but in my primary school, we actually had little gardens down, each form had a little garden down the side of the school playground. And that's when I really started getting interested. And obviously my dad had an allotment and my granddad had a veg garden as well. But I've always been passionate about growing vegetables. But I want to say to people that they could look at I grow vegetables in tubs and in raised beds like Brenda. I made the raised beds as well. That's my onions at the moment, and in the background I've got kale, chard, which is a form of spinach, which I left in the ground over the winter, and now it's really come back, and I'm planting the next lot. One of the exciting things about gardening is planting, you know, all the time so that you get stuff throughout
the year.
Yeah, but I do want to say to people watching, you can do it on a balcony. I mean, I grow my potatoes in tubs because I don't want them all over the garden. So I've got big old plastic things I bought at the garden centre for a couple of quid with loads of... Look, there's my 2 lots of potatoes. Now, our producer said to me, "Who's Nicola?" And that's because all my potatoes are named after women. That's Nicola, and I've got Ciara.
It's a good variety.
And Charlotte.
Can I just say one thing? Can I just say one thing? Coleen, wake up. Wake up.
Yeah, you'll be surprised. If you want, I can supply as much of the manure as you want.
Yes.
Oh, I'm going to
from your horses, I'm presuming.
From the horses. Well, who knows, Ruth?
Yeah, I've been known to
times.
stop in people's driveways.
The thing is, Coleen does glaze over a bit when we all start waxing lyrical about growing things. A lot. But Ciara grows veg, doesn't she?
Ciara's brilliant at it, absolutely, and really loves it. And she loves cooking.
And you reap the rewards because you eat the lovely, fresh, homegrown vegetables.
Don't know any
difference.
Thank you,
Ciara.
Thank you, Ciara.
OK, on that note.